Well, good afternoon. I want to welcome you again to another edition of 2 Minutes on Grace. And today I want to look at two aspects of grace briefly together, because there's two things about grace that sometimes we don't perceive, and there could be a lot said about these today, but let's just hone in on a couple of aspects. And obviously there's more than two things about grace, but today these two things are kind of going through my heart. First of all, the first one is how grace instructs us. You know, in our first born life here from mom and dad, there's an anti-God spirit in us, that disposition in us to do our own thing. And then obviously we also recognize that the culture around us is against God. It always has been. There have been seasons of greater moral righteousness or greater moral right living, but the reality of it is that man has always been about, and including his culture has been about, doing his own thing his own way. So in Titus chapter 2, Paul, as he was writing to this young preacher, he said, you know what? It is the grace of God that teaches us, that instructs us how to deny the anti-God spirit that's originally in us. And so this kind of attitude that we find in ourselves, it's God's grace that teaches us to step away from that. And then Paul, in writing to the Corinthian church in his second letter, he said, you know what? I found that in all of my persecutions, in all of the things, God gave me something that's called his grace that allows me, empowers me to live in a way that even though I'm persecuted and attacked and suffering because of how I believe in Jesus, even though there's something that's on me constantly trying to keep me from following through, God's grace is teaching me how to live and provide and empower me in through this anti-God system. So we'll address these some more at another time, but I just thought I'd give you two things. Grace is your instructor today, and grace is your provision of power today. God bless you.